1 Peter 4:10 says, "As each one has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace." This is Pastor Nate, and I have the honor and privilege of being able to talk a little bit about the phenomenal work that the worship and outreach committees have done over this past year. I, of course, don't have time to mention everything, but I want to go ahead and touch on just a few of the highlights that have happened over this past year. For the first time in a long time, we had a Scout Sunday, and Boy Scout Troop number 10 helped with a flag folding ceremony, along with Dennis Slimmer and Eddie York, as we celebrated the flag and gave honor to our country. We have seen significant spiritual movement within the life of our church over this past year. We've had 15 people who have decided to be baptized who have been baptized, and others who have decided to be baptized and who are still in the process. And then there are even others who have made first-time commitments for Christ within their spiritual life. The worship committee has put an emphasis on this, that kids aren't the future of the church. They are the church. Pastor Bree continues to do a children's story time at the first Sunday of every month. But we have been intentional about identifying other times throughout the year that our kids and youth can be actively involved in participating in worship services within our church. You'll see a picture up top where our kids are actually helping to pass out the elements of communion. Our church is so blessed to be able to have so many people who provide special music throughout the year. At least twice a month and more in other seasons, we have special music at our church. You'll see a picture of Jeff Crady and his daughter Lena, our bell choir, chancel choir. This year we invited the Frederickson Center praise team to come and lead us in worship. And we also had the gospel group Spoken For that came and provided special music for us right around the Easter time. Our church continues to do communion, and communion is a big part of worship as we come together to eat of the bread and drink of the cup and proclaim the Lord's death until He returns. Our church helped to facilitate a Northeast area Good Friday celebration with 4 other congregations. There were over 150 people who were in attendance, a joint choir and a joint praise team. It was a wonderful time of celebration. Throughout the year, we held special worship services like Next Gen Sunday, hymn sings, and even a night of praise. And next, I get to talk about the Outreach Committee. The Outreach Committee has done a wonderful job over this past year in helping us to be able to connect with our neighbors and our community and help us to continue to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ. They have put on a number of events, so I can't mention all of them, but I do want to go ahead and highlight just a few. Again, the Outreach Committee hosted Trunk or Treat in our church parking lot. It was a ton of fun. It's more than just decorating trunks or passing out candy. It's an opportunity to talk with and connect with our neighbors and to share a little bit about our church. For the first time in a long time, our church had a table at Boo at the Zoo. The Outreach Committee and the Children and Youth Education Committee partnered together to be able to do this. And over a period of 2 weekends, we were able to pass out over 5,000 different advertisements about our congregation. Other events that were hosted throughout the year were events like the fishing and cookout at the Terhunes, or the Chiefs Watch Party down in Fellowship Hall, or a movie party in the gymnasium on the 30-foot screen, or even the ability to be able to have a float in the Christmas parade downtown. These were just a few of the many ways that the Outreach Committee helped to be able to get our church name out into the community. One of the highlights for this year was the Liberia Poultry Chicken Project fundraiser. The church raised $2,505 the foundation contributed $2,000 to that initiative, for a grand total of $4,505 to go to this important missions project. Our church has historically always been big into mission giving. In fact, each year, out of all of the American Baptist churches, we are typically top 10 in United Mission giving. This year, we've committed to give $40,000 to United Mission giving. Other opportunities for giving were through America for Christ, World Mission Offering, One Great Hour of Sharing, and Retired Ministers and Missionaries Offering. This brings the total of our mission giving to at least $45,000, and I say at least because there are many other Sunday schools and different groups within the churches who give to missionaries. So our mission giving with our size of congregation is substantial, and it makes a huge impact. I would be remiss if I didn't think that all of these different ways that our church continues to worship and connect with our community weren't reasons of why we, for the second year in a row, were top 3 best of Topeka in places of worship. We've seen many people who have come into our worship, into our sanctuary, and those individuals continue to say, this is one of the friendliest churches that I have ever visited. Maybe you're like me, and there have been some times that I have wondered if the gifts that I have given financially actually contribute anything to God's kingdom. I can say to you today wholeheartedly that no matter the size of your gift, your financial contribution to First Baptist goes directly to building up God's kingdom here on earth. Thank you so much for your continued and faithful giving to this church so that it can be a beacon of light here in Topeka and all around the world.